Anna sat at her small rented apartment, staring at the thin walls that seemed to rattle with every sound from her neighbors. She was 32 and worked as a sales representative for a large company, which meant constant traveling. After long days of meetings and flights, she only wanted silence, but instead she was greeted with the pounding of televisions, children crying, and couples arguing late into the night. "This is no way to live," Anna muttered, pressing her palms against her temples. 4 years she had been saving, determined to escape this endless noise. She didn't want a mansion or some glamorous house. She just wanted a simple home with a yard and peace. Picking up her phone, she dialed Mike, her longtime friend who worked as a realtor. "Mike," she said firmly, "I need you to find me a house. Something medium-sized, away from busy streets. A place with space to breathe." Mike laughed softly on the other end. "About time, Anna. I'll see what I can find. Give me a few days." While waiting for Mike's call, Anna decided to visit her parents. They lived across town in a modest house, and she always felt guilty for not stopping by more often. Travel consumed her schedule, and weeks sometimes passed without a visit. As she pulled into their driveway, she immediately noticed her sister Emily's car parked outside. Emily, 34, was married to Rob and had 2 children, 6-year-old Tommy and 4-year-old Sarah. Emily spent most of her days at their parents' place since she didn't work, and their mom often helped raise the children. When Anna walked in, Tommy zoomed around the living room with a toy car making engine sounds. Sarah scribbled on paper at the coffee table, and Emily slumped on the couch, tired but watchful. Rob sat in the corner scrolling through his phone while their mother busied herself in the kitchen. Their father waited at the table, ready for dinner. Anna sat down with them, but as usual, all the talk circled back to Emily and her kids. Dinner carried on with familiar patterns. Their mother proudly announced how Tommy was already reading ahead of his grade. Their father teased Sarah, making her giggle between bites. Emily sighed about the rising cost of groceries and clothes for her children. Anna listened silently, pushing her mashed potatoes around her plate, waiting for a moment to join in. Finally, Tommy spilled his juice, and as everyone scrambled to mop it up, Anna saw her chance. She cleared her throat and said, "Actually, I have some news too. I'm planning to buy a house." The room froze. Forks clinked against plates, and everyone turned to stare at her. She had expected cheers, hugs, or at least a congratulations. But the expressions around the table were nothing like that. Emily's eyes hardened with something sharp, part jealousy, part anger. Their parents exchanged uneasy looks. "A house. Anna, what do you need a house for?" her mother asked, putting her fork down. "You're hardly ever home. It makes no sense." Anna frowned. "What do you mean, what for? Everyone needs their own place." Emily leaned forward, her voice sharp. "I need a house way more than you. I have children, Anna. They need space, their own rooms. You're just one person who lives out of a suitcase." Anna blinked, stunned. "Wait. Are you saying my house should be yours?" Emily crossed her arms. "Yes, I deserve it more. I have a family." Anna looked around the table, expecting someone to laugh at Emily's absurd demand. Instead, their father nodded gravely. Even Rob, who rarely looked up from his phone, mumbled in agreement. Their mother added softly, "She's right, Anna. Emily is struggling. Family should help family." Anna's chest tightened as her father's voice grew stern, the way it had when she was a child being scolded. "You don't have children, Anna. You don't have a family of your own. You're gone most of the time, and you've never managed to keep a relationship long enough to settle down. Emily needs that house more than you do." Anna slammed her fork onto her plate. "Are you all serious right now? I'm the one who worked hard, saved my money, and dreamed of this moment. And you're saying I should just hand it over to Emily?" Her father's face turned red. "You're being selfish. You live alone. You can stay in your apartment." Anna stood, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. "This is madness. I won't give up my dream just because you've decided I don't deserve it." Her mother's voice rose, pleading, "Anna, sit down. We're not finished talking about this." But Anna grabbed her purse and bag. "Yes, we are," she said coldly, walking to the door as their voices trailed behind her. Anna's hands trembled as she drove back to her apartment. She could still hear her sister shouting behind her, "Don't you dare walk out on us. We're your family." But she had walked out anyway, refusing to look back. By the time she reached home, her phone was buzzing non-stop. Dozens of missed calls from her mom, dad, and Emily filled the screen. She ignored them, kicked off her shoes, and collapsed onto her bed. Sleep didn't come easily. Every time she closed her eyes, her father's voice echoed in her head. "You don't deserve a house because you don't have kids." Anna pulled the blanket over her head, but the words clung like a shadow she couldn't shake. The next morning, messages poured in like an avalanche. Her mother's text read, "Anna, you're being selfish and cruel. Emily needs that house for her children. Family should help family." Her father's was shorter, colder. "Call us back. We need to talk properly." But Emily's were the most relentless. 10, maybe 12 texts. "You're heartless. How can you put yourself above your nephew and niece? You should be ashamed." Anna deleted them all without replying. She whispered to herself, "I'm not ashamed. I worked for this. I deserve peace." Then she opened her laptop and buried herself in work reports. A business trip was coming up, and she refused to let her family's bitterness destroy her focus. 2 weeks passed in silence. No calls, no texts. It was as if her parents and sister had decided to punish her by cutting her off completely. Anna felt lighter, almost free. Then one afternoon, her phone lit up with Mike's name. "Anna, I've got something perfect for you," he said, his voice brimming with excitement. 3-bedroom house, big backyard, quiet street, wonderful neighbors. The owners are moving out of state and want a quick sale. And here's the kicker. They're leaving the furniture. Anna sat up straighter. "Are you serious? Furniture too?" Mike chuckled. "Yep, good quality stuff. You need to come see it this Saturday." That Saturday, Mike drove Anna to the property. The moment she stepped out of the car, her breath caught. A charming white house with a red front door stood proudly at the end of a peaceful lane. Towering oak trees shaded the wide yard, and birds chirped in the branches. "Oh my God," Anna whispered. "It's perfect." Inside it was even better. Granite countertops gleamed in the kitchen. Sunlight poured into spacious bedrooms, and the living room was furnished with a soft couch and matching chairs. "The family next door has teenage kids, very respectful," Mike explained. "And Mrs. Henderson on the left is a sweet old lady who's lived here for 20 years. You'll love her." Anna's heart raced as she asked, "What's the asking price?" When Mike told her, Anna's smile widened. It was right within her budget. She had saved carefully, and this was exactly what she'd been waiting for. "I want to make an offer," she said immediately. By the end of the day, the sellers had accepted. 3 weeks later, she was signing papers and holding the keys to her very own house. Anna stood in the driveway, staring at the red front door, hardly believing it was hers. She whispered, "Finally." She didn't tell her family a single word. After the chaos at that dinner table, they didn't deserve to know. This house was her sanctuary, her hard-earned victory, and no one, not even her parents, would take it away. Moving day was everything Anna had dreamed of. She hired movers to bring her things from the apartment, though there wasn't much since the house came fully furnished. She spent the first week just walking through every room, touching the countertops, opening the closets, and standing in the backyard with her coffee. The silence was heavenly. No shouting neighbors, no blaring televisions, only the sound of birds and the rustle of trees. At night, she lay in bed staring at the ceiling, whispering to herself, "It's really mine." 2 weeks later, she decided it was time to celebrate. She planned a small housewarming party and carefully chose who to invite. Her work friends, some college buddies, and a few cousins and aunts who had always been supportive. No parents. No Emily. Definitely not Rob. "This is my fresh start," she told herself while hanging lights across the backyard. When the day arrived, Laughter and music filled the air as her friends grilled burgers, played games, and explored her new home. "Anna, this place is beautiful," one of her co-workers exclaimed. "You deserve this." For the first time in years, Anna felt truly proud of herself. Around 8 p.m., just as the party was in full swing, there was a knock at the front door. Anna, thinking it might be a late guest, opened it, and nearly dropped her drink. Standing there were her parents, Emily and Rob, all dressed as if they had been invited. "Surprise," her mother said with a fake smile. "We found you." Anna's jaw tightened. "How did you even get this address?" "Oh, we have our ways," her mother said breezily. Without waiting for permission, they pushed past her into the house. Inside, her parents immediately transformed into actors on stage. "Look what our Anna accomplished," her mother gushed to relatives. "We're so proud of her." Her father shook hands with Anna's co-workers, saying, "We always knew she'd do great things. We raised her right." Anna wanted to scream. These were the same people who told her she didn't deserve a home. Meanwhile, Emily and Rob slipped away to inspect the house like buyers at an open house. Anna followed upstairs and caught Emily in the master bedroom, opening closets and peeking into the bathroom. "Emily, what are you doing?" Anna snapped. Emily turned, unfazed. "Just looking around. I need to see what will eventually be mine." Anna's stomach twisted. "This is not your house. It will never be your house." Emily smirked. "We'll see." Downstairs, Rob opened cabinets and checked appliances like he was making a list. By the time they left, Anna was seething. At the door, her mother turned and scolded. "You should be ashamed of yourself for not inviting your own family. That's no way to treat parents." Anna didn't even reply. She shut the door the moment they stepped outside. After they left, the party grew lively again. Friends teased her about her family's odd behavior. "They seemed fake," one coworker whispered. Anna just laughed bitterly. "You have no idea." That weekend, she poured her energy into the yard. She had always wanted a garden, and now she had space. Kneeling in the dirt, she pulled weeds and planted flowers, determined to root herself in this new chapter. That's when she met Mrs. Henderson, the elderly neighbor next door, who leaned over the fence with gardening gloves still on. "You need to cut that rose bush back more," Mrs. Henderson called. "Don't be afraid to trim it." Anna looked up, smiling. "Hi, I'm Anna. I just moved in." The woman smiled warmly. "Eleanor Henderson. But you can call me Mrs. Henderson." They chatted for a while, and Anna learned that her neighbor had lived there for decades. "You travel for work, don't you?" Mrs. Henderson asked. "I do," Anna admitted. "Sometimes I'm gone for weeks." Mrs. Henderson nodded. "Well, I'll keep an eye on your house when you're away. You can trust me." Relief washed over Anna. "Thank you. That means a lot." 2 months later, Anna had fully settled in. Her garden was blooming, her mornings were peaceful, and she even started sleeping without earplugs. Then she received another business assignment. 2 weeks out of town. Before leaving, she stopped by Mrs. Henderson's house. "I'll be gone for a bit," she said. "Can you watch the place?" Mrs. Henderson smiled. "Of course, dear. Don't worry about a thing." The first week passed without issue, but on the second Wednesday, Anna's phone buzzed at 11 p.m. It was Mrs. Henderson. "Anna, I'm so sorry to call this late, but there are people in your house right now," Mrs. Henderson said urgently. Anna sat upright in her hotel bed. "What? Are you sure? I can see lights on and I hear music." Anna frowned, rubbing her forehead. "Maybe you're mistaken, Mrs. Henderson. No one has access." The line went quiet, then Mrs. Henderson's voice turned icy. "If you don't believe me, I won't bother telling you again." She hung up, leaving Anna shaken. When Anna returned from the trip, everything looked normal. No broken locks, no missing items. She convinced herself Mrs. Henderson had simply been mistaken. Still, guilt nagged at her. So the next morning she carried a pie to her neighbor's house. "I'm sorry I doubted you," she said. Mrs. Henderson accepted the pie with a smile and led Anna inside. "I have something to show you." She pulled out her phone and pressed play. The grainy video clearly showed Anna's house, lights blazing and shadows moving inside. Anna's chest went cold. "Oh my God. You were right." Anna couldn't stop staring at the shaky video Mrs. Henderson had recorded. The figures inside her house were blurry, but the movement was unmistakable. "Do you recognize them?" Anna whispered. Mrs. Henderson shook her head. "Too dark. But I know what I saw, Anna. You weren't imagining things." That afternoon, Anna called a security company. "I want cameras installed immediately," she told the technician. "Hidden ones inside and outside." The man nodded. "We'll have everything in place by tomorrow." Anna felt a flicker of relief. "Good. Because next time I want proof." By the next evening, tiny cameras were tucked into corners of her living room, mounted by the doors, and hidden along the backyard fence. Anna tested the phone app, amazed at the crystal-clear video feed. "If anyone even breathes near my door, I'll know," she muttered. For weeks, nothing happened. Every time she checked, her house was still, peaceful, untouched. Slowly, she began to relax. Maybe whoever it was won't come back, she told herself. But a voice deep inside whispered otherwise. A month later, she was called away again for work. This time she wasn't nervous. "If anyone tries anything, I'll see it instantly," she assured Mrs. Henderson. 3 days into the trip, her phone rang late at night. Mrs. Henderson's voice trembled. "Anna, it's happening again. I see people inside." Anna's heart hammered. "Hold on, I'm checking my cameras." She opened the app and the live feed loaded. What she saw made her blood freeze. It wasn't strangers. It was her parents. Her sister Emily. But they weren't just standing around either, they were hosting a party. Music thumped through her speakers. Emily strutted around the living room, showing off the house like it was hers. Rob mixed drinks at the bar. Her father lounged in Anna's favorite chair, legs crossed like a king. Her mother bustled in the kitchen, serving snacks on Anna's plates. Worse still, they had brought friends, about 8 people in total, drinking wine, laughing, toasting in her home. Anna's grip on the phone tightened until her knuckles turned white. "They're treating my house like a clubhouse," she whispered. Her first instinct was to call her parents and scream, but rage burned too hot for words. "No," she whispered. "They'll learn the hard way." She dialed 911. "This is Anna Thompson," she told the dispatcher, voice steady but trembling with fury. "There are intruders in my home right now. I'm away on a business trip, but I have security cameras. I can see them." The dispatcher's tone sharpened. "Are you watching them live?" "Yes. There are at least 8 people drinking and partying in my living room." "Stay on the line, ma'am. Officers are on the way." Anna's eyes never left the screen. The dispatcher kept her calm while she described everything she saw. 10 minutes later, flashing lights filled the camera view. Police officers knocked on her front door. The party froze instantly. Music cut off, voices hushed. Rob staggered to the door and tried to talk his way out, gesturing wildly with his hands. The officers stepped inside. Anna leaned closer to her phone, her pulse racing. She could see her parents' shocked faces, Emily clutching her chest in panic, guests whispering in confusion. Then it spiraled. Rob, clearly drunk, raised his voice, pointing a finger at one officer. "You can't just barge in here. This is my house." The officer held up his hand, trying to calm him, but Rob shoved forward. Anna gasped aloud. On the line, the dispatcher said quickly, "Ma'am, one individual is becoming aggressive. We're sending backup." Through her screen, Anna watched as Rob shoved the officer. In seconds, Rob was wrestled to the ground and handcuffed. Guests pressed against the walls, terrified. Emily burst into tears. Her parents looked pale as ghosts. Backup arrived fast. More officers herded everyone outside, questioning them under the flood of police car lights. Anna sat frozen in her hotel room, torn between fury and satisfaction. That's what you get, she whispered. An hour later her phone rang. Miss Thompson, a calm male voice said. This is Officer Martinez. We've detained several individuals from your residence. They claim you gave them keys and permission. Is that true? Anna laughed bitterly. Absolutely not. I never gave them permission. I never gave them keys. They broke in. The officer paused. They claim to be family members. Anna's jaw clenched. They are my family. But that doesn't give them the right to invade my house and throw parties. I want them prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Understood, ma'am. We'll hold them overnight. You can come tomorrow to file a formal complaint. After hanging up, Anna's phone buzzed non-stop. First her mother. Anna, this is all a misunderstanding. Call us. Then her father. Fix this nonsense. Tell the police you gave us permission. Then Emily. How could you call the cops on your own family? You're destroying us. Anna threw the phone onto the bed and laughed bitterly. The next morning, Anna cut her trip short and flew home. When she opened her front door, she froze. Her house was a wreck. Wine glasses on the coffee table, crumbs ground into the rug, sticky rings on the counter, empty bottles lined up on the bar. Her safe place had been desecrated. Fury boiled in her chest as she headed straight for the police station. Her family was there, disheveled from a night in jail. Anna, her mother cried. Tell them it's all a mistake. Her father barked. Tell them you gave us the keys. Emily sobbed. My kids are asking for me. Please. Rob just glared, red-eyed and bitter. Anna squared her shoulders, turned to the officer and said firmly, I want to make it clear, they broke into my house. I never gave them permission. The officer nodded at Anna's words. We'll need you to sign paperwork and confirm your statement. Charges will move forward. Her parents' faces drained of color. Emily cried harder, her shoulders shaking. Rob growled under his breath. His hands still cuffed. Her father tried one last time. His voice low and commanding. Anna, stop this. Tell them the truth. Say you gave us permission. You're overreacting. Anna looked him straight in the eye. No. The truth is you betrayed me. You treated my house like it was yours. That ends now. In the end, Anna chose not to push for the harshest penalties. She thought of her niece and nephew, who were innocent in all this. But she made sure her family faced consequences. The police released them on bail, but the charges stayed. Days later, Officer Martinez called her again. We've learned more about how they entered your home. It seems your sister used soft plastic to make impressions of your keys during your housewarming party. Then she had duplicates made. Anna's stomach churned. She planned this all along. Yes, the officer confirmed. And she had help. Someone in your company's HR leaked your travel schedule. The betrayal cut deeper than she imagined. Her own family had plotted against her from the start, watching her leave for business trips and sliding into her home like it was theirs. Rob's arrest cost him his job. Emily lost friends who were furious about being dragged into an illegal party. Her parents tried calling for weeks, but Anna never picked up. Emily wrote long emails filled with blame and self-pity, but Anna deleted them without reading. They don't get another piece of me, she told herself firmly. Life slowly returned to normal. Anna changed her locks, upgraded her alarm system, and invested in even stronger security cameras. Mrs. Henderson became her closest ally. One afternoon, over coffee in the garden, Mrs. Henderson sighed. I should have realized it was your family at that party. I feel terrible. Anna shook her head. Don't blame yourself. I never imagined my own blood would go this far either. Together, they watered roses, the sunlight warm on their backs. For the first time, Anna felt truly at peace, knowing she had someone trustworthy watching over her. Anna no longer spoke to her parents or Emily. The betrayal was too deep to forgive. Sometimes late at night, she thought of her father's words, that she didn't deserve a house because she didn't have children. And then she remembered how they secretly claimed her home for their own parties. The memory burned, But it also strengthened her resolve. Standing on her porch, keys jingling in her hand, she whispered, "This is mine. I earned it." Behind her, the red front door gleamed in the fading light, a symbol of freedom, strength, and the family she chose for herself.